Hi, my name is Steve Marx. I am a tactical strategist on the Windows Azure team. Yes, I know that's a joke. My blog is at blog.smarks.com. I'm everywhere on the web with Smarks. And what I wanted to do is talk to you about the last 6 months, the improvements that we've made to Windows Azure, and of course we're going to do that in 5 minutes. That works out to be a compression ratio of 51,840 to 1, so I might have to leave out some things doing 6 months in 5 minutes. Notably, I'm not going to talk much about SQL Azure. Sorry.
Please don't.
So we're going to do this with 3 themes. We're going to talk, and before you ask what professional artist I hired to do this, I drew these pictures myself. We're going to talk about the power of the platform and the things that you can run on it. We're going to talk about extending reach for global scale in the cloud. And we're going to talk about control and the management that you can do in Windows Azure. So let's start off by talking about power. We've got the full power of IIS. Full IIS, we used to not run full IIS, but now we do, and that means you can do things like run a whole bunch of websites on the same VM, you can run native modules, you can do all the configuration you normally do with IIS on your server. We have elevated privileges, which means you can run as an administrator if you choose. We have startup tasks. Those are basically batch files that run before the code that you run, that you can run them as admin if you want. You usually do because you're using them to install things. I've installed lots of things using these. I've installed Ruby, that powers my blog, and it's running in Windows Azure. I've installed Node.js to do server-side JavaScript for my chat app. I've run Python apps. All that, you can find some open source code on Codeplex for all that stuff. I've run some NoSQL data stores like Cassandra, CouchDB, pretty much anything. With the power of startup tasks, elevated privileges, you can run a lot of stuff. If you can't run the thing that you want to run, we even added this thing called a VM role. This is a concept you might be familiar with. You set up a VM, you send us the VHD, we run it for you. All right, let's move on to reach. So let's talk about our global scale here. I couldn't draw a global scale, so I went with reach. Windows Azure runs in 6 data centers across the globe, 2 in North America, 2 in Europe, and 2 in Asia. You can run your application on any or all of those. If you choose to run your app in more than one data center, you can use something called Traffic Manager to route traffic intelligently. So if someone from Europe visits your site, they get to the European data center. If someone from the US visits your site, they get to a North American data center. We have a content delivery network. We've had one for a long time, but it keeps getting bigger. We currently have 24 nodes across the globe in the CDN. You can use the CDN over storage, like videos, over an application like an ASP.NET web app. And you can turn on SSL if you want. Those last 2 things are relatively new features. We have this awesome thing called Connect. It's IP-based cross-premises connectivity. And what that means is that you run a little agent on your local machines at your data center, and they magically, through the power of IPv6 and IPsec, connect up to the same network that you have running in the cloud. Those machines can see each other. You can even like join those VMs in the cloud to your Active Directory and use the same login process. We have a distributed in-memory cache in the form of a multi-tenant service. It comes complete with a local cache option, which means you can have as little as 0 milliseconds latency when retrieving things from the cache. That's kind of cool. If we're talking about scale, we got to talk about sizes of VMs too. We've always had small, medium, large, and extra large, ranging from 12 cents an hour to 96 cents an hour. We've just recently added the extra small instance for a nickel an hour.
Where's supersize?
Supersize is coming extra, extra large. We'll come next. Finally, we'll talk about control, just because I love this picture. We're going to talk about some of the new management stuff that's in Windows Azure. We've got a brand spanking new portal with all sorts of silver lighty goodness, or badness, depending on how you look at it. One of the things you can do there, if you've turned it on for your app, is you can click this little button in the corner and remote desktop directly into your virtual machine. So we're a platform as a service where you can still get on the box and do diagnostics if you want to. We think that's kind of cool. We've got a service management API that lets you do all that stuff that you can do in the portal via a REST API. Recent additions to that are creating and deleting apps and storage accounts. You can also do this cool thing. You can get a whole history of all the things that have been done in the portal or through the REST API, including who did them or what certificate was used to do them. So very cool for auditing what's going on. It lets you build cool things like this. This is a Ruby command line app that I built that lets me do crazy things like at the bottom there, I'm re-imaging one of the VMs that runs my blog. So I did this live. And that's it. So remember these guys, remember power and reach and control in Windows Azure. Thank you.
Excellent.